Just one moment in front of the camera can turn a shining star into a pile of rubble, ugly and pathetic. This video will expose 20 celebrities who ruined their careers right there, right in front of millions of viewers. You won't believe how they went from the peak of fame to the depths of misery. Let's explore the most shocking scandals and the most terrifying collapses in entertainment history. Liam Neeson. Liam Neeson's illustrious career unexpectedly faltered after a shocking revelation in a 2019 interview, stirring up a buzz throughout Hollywood. The actor confessed about a dark memory from his past when a close relative of his was attacked. Neeson admitted that upon returning and hearing the story of his close female friend being raped, he was consumed by a rage. In his blind anger, he confessed to having roamed the streets, looking for any black man to pick a fight with, intending to kill them. It took him about a week and a half to escape that terrifying state of mind. Immediately, a wave of fierce criticism poured down on him. The public vehemently condemned his past harboring of such horrifying thoughts, even though he later expressed deep shame and acknowledged how terrifying that mindset was. Some stars like Trevor Noah and Whoopi Goldberg defended Neeson, arguing that daring to confront ugly truths from the past requires true courage. Yet, fans remained deeply divided. For many, the damage was too great. By 2025, the shadow of that confession still looms over his legacy, making it difficult for audiences to view him or his films as they once did. Martin Lawrence. In the 1990s, Martin Lawrence was the undisputed king of comedy, a seemingly unstoppable force. In 1994, he finally achieved what most comedians only dreamed of: an invitation to host Saturday Night Live, SNL. It should have been a career-defining moment, but instead it became one of the most embarrassing disasters in SNL history. During his opening monologue, Lawrence delivered a routine that was excessively frank and uncontrolled, pushing every imaginable boundary. He expressed his desire to shine, but went too far that night. His jokes about private topics and women's relationships became extremely inappropriate, turning what should have been a lighthearted performance into an awkward spectacle. He even uttered shocking remarks to both the live audience and viewers at home, such as comments about women not practicing proper hygiene. Those words delved deep into the realm of vulgarity, astounding even the producers. NBC was forced to take drastic action, cutting his entire opening monologue from future broadcasts and replacing it with a disclaimer. The consequences were devastating. Martin Lawrence was permanently banned from Saturday Night Live, a rare and humiliating punishment. Worse still, the controversy followed him for years, leaving a permanent scar in his burgeoning career. A quick question before we go deeper. Where are you watching from? Please drop your country's name in the comments. And trust me, you'll want to stay until the end. There are some shocking stories and unexpected celebrities you won't believe. Ezra Miller. Ezra Miller, once a rising star, was caught in a whirlwind after a shocking video went viral online. The footage, filmed at a bar in Iceland, captured a disturbing encounter between Miller and a female fan. In the video, Miller asked the woman, "Pick a fight, you want to fight?" Initially, the woman seemed to be joking, but things quickly escalated as Miller grabbed her by the neck and pushed her into a truck, then threw her to the ground. "What the hell?" "Whoa, buddy!" the camera person seemed to exclaim in shock as the chaotic moment abruptly ended. The clip caused a stir on social media, but it was just the tip of the iceberg. Miller's behavior progressively worsened, with multiple subsequent arrests on charges of disorderly conduct, theft, and harassment. In a statement, Miller remarked that they were being arrested for disorderly conduct, but also claimed they had been assaulted. As controversies mounted, the consequences for Miller's career became undeniable. Warner Brothers, already under pressure due to Miller's actions, faced increasing backlash over their role in The Flash, a blockbuster film starring Miller. Although the film was released, it struggled at the box office, and many pointed to Miller's erratic behavior as a key factor in its poor performance. Giuliana Rancic. Giuliana Rancic was once a prominent face on E's Fashion Police, but her reputation took a turn for the worse after a controversial comment. In a segment about the 2015 Academy Awards, she made a remark about Zendaya's hairstyle, sparking a wave of outrage. Rancic said that Zendaya's dreadlocks made her look like she smelled of patchouli oil or weed. The comment was immediately widely criticized as an offensive racial stereotype. Zendaya did not hesitate to speak out in her own defense, expressing her disappointment on Instagram. She highlighted the clear difference between making a joke and crossing the line into disrespect. Zendaya explained that she wore her hair naturally to celebrate its beauty, and Rancic's words deeply hurt that sentiment. The post quickly went viral, garnering significant support from fans and public figures who condemned Rancic's comment. Rancic attempted to apologize, first on Twitter saying she had no intention of offending anyone. But the backlash continued to grow. She then issued a more sincere statement, acknowledging the harm of her words and vowing to avoid perpetuating harmful stereotypes in the future. She admitted, "I have learned that it's not about my intent, it's about the result." However, Rancic also blamed the editing, claiming her comments were taken out of context. Nevertheless, the damage was irreparable. Joan Rivers. The relationship between Joan Rivers and The Tonight Show was once one of the icons of television history. She was a frequent guest and even filled in for Johnny Carson as host when he was absent. Everything seemed like a perfect professional collaboration, but in 1986, it all crumbled. Rivers made a bold move when she accepted an offer from Fox to host her own late-night talk show, placing her in direct competition with Carson. The real issue wasn't just the competition, but that Rivers hadn't informed Carson before the news became public. When she finally called to explain, Carson's reaction was immediate. He hung up. She tried to call back, but he refused to take her calls. Rivers later revealed that NBC had been unclear about renewing her contract, leaving her uncertain about her future with the network as they continuously delayed giving a definitive answer. The network's inaction pushed her into a difficult position. Meanwhile, Fox saw an opportunity to make its mark in the late-night show world. They offered Rivers an unmissable deal, a 5-year contract worth $15 million, a colossal sum at the time. This offer promised her everything she had at NBC and more. But the consequence was devastating. Carson, unable to forgive the betrayal, never spoke to Rivers again. She was permanently banned from The Tonight Show, marking the end of an era in late-night television. Jimmy the Greek. Jimmy the Greek was once a titan in the world of sports commentary, especially known for his bold football predictions. For years, he appeared on CBS screens, building a reputation as one of the most outspoken figures in the industry. But in 1988, a single moment shattered everything. During an interview about Martin Luther King Jr. Day, a reporter asked Jimmy about the progress of black people in society. The conversation, initially about fairness, quickly took a dark turn. Suddenly, Jimmy made an astonishing comment, suggesting that if more black people started coaching football, there would soon be no jobs left for white people in the sport. He stated that all players were black, and the only thing white people controlled were the coaching positions, completely disregarding the implications of his words. The backlash was swift and fierce. His comments quickly spread, enraging countless people. Viewers called CBS nonstop, demanding action. Pressure mounted until CBS had no choice but to make a decision. Within days, Jimmy the Greek was fired, his career ending abruptly and painfully. Joaquin Phoenix. Joaquin Phoenix solidified his position as one of Hollywood's most respected actors, but his 2009 appearance on The Late Show with David Letterman became one of the most baffling moments of his career. Phoenix walked onto the stage with a completely altered appearance, his face covered by a thick beard, sunglasses obscuring his eyes, and an overall bizarre, aloof demeanor. Letterman, in his role as host, commented on Phoenix's new look, but Phoenix's responses were terse and awkward. As the interview continued, Phoenix's behavior grew increasingly eccentric. Letterman tried to navigate the conversation with basic questions, but Phoenix offered only brief, hesitant replies. His flat delivery and strange exchanges left both Letterman and the audience bewildered, unsure if he was joking or genuinely disoriented. The most shocking moment came when Phoenix calmly announced he would be quitting acting to pursue a hip-hop career, stunning the audience. Letterman, trying to play along, joked and attempted to elicit a more serious response from him. He expressed hope that Phoenix would reconsider and return to acting, but Phoenix remained silent and distant, as if unaffected by the situation. Later, many speculated that Phoenix might be going through personal difficulties, as his erratic behavior seemed to signal something deeper. Hollywood quickly distanced itself from him, and it seemed his promising career might have ended. Months later, the truth was revealed. Phoenix's shocking behavior was part of an elaborate hoax for a mockumentary titled, "I'm Still Here." Although the truth behind the act was exposed, the damage to his career was immense. Studios stopped casting him, and it took many years with outstanding performances in films like Her, 2013, and Joker, 2019, to restore his reputation and regain Hollywood's respect. Shan Connory. Shan Connory appeared in his 1987 interview with Barbara Walters in a friendly manner, conversing comfortably about golf and friendship. However, things changed when Walters reminded him of a past remark. He had suggested that hitting a woman with an open hand rather than a fist was not the worst thing, and asked if he still held that opinion. Connory didn't flinch. He hoped he hadn't changed his view. When asked to explain, he still asserted that in stressful situations, a light slap could be necessary, emphasizing that it entirely depended on the circumstances and whether it was deserved. When Walters asked what would happen if the woman hit back, Connory laughed, joking that then maybe she was enjoying it. What seemed like a genuine insight into his personal code immediately turned into a public storm. Audiences were astonished by his calm defense of such an extreme view. That moment on national television exploded into controversy and has haunted Connory's reputation ever since. An unforgettable blunder that exposed attitudes many found shockingly outdated. Were you shocked by Shan Connory's unapologetic views? Comment yes if it changed how you see him, or no if you still respect him. Vanilla Ice. In 1990, Vanilla Ice stood at the top of the world with his hit song, Ice Ice Baby. The song propelled him to fame, but his music career quickly faded with a string of unsuccessful releases. However, it wasn't just his music that led to his downfall. It was a shocking moment on MTV in 1994 that sealed his demise. He appeared on 25 Lame, a show where comedians mocked bad music videos. What was supposed to be a lighthearted segment quickly descended into chaos. Instead of simply making fun of his video, Vanilla Ice was handed a baseball bat and instructed to destroy the Ice Ice Baby tape. He began smashing the tape, but things didn't stop there. In a fit of frustration, he lost control, tearing apart the entire set. Tables and chairs flew, objects shattered. At one point, he even seemed ready to swing the bat at Jon Stewart, visibly shocking the host. Janeane Garofalo even recoiled in fear, clearly caught off guard by his unpredictability. Viewers didn't just see it as a joke, they saw an angry and bitter man whose career was fading. This outburst became one of the defining moments of Vanilla Ice's public life, and it marked the point where his already declining career nearly ended. This chaotic moment on MTV is still remembered as one of the main reasons he never regained the fame he once had. Michael Jackson. In the 2003 documentary Living with Michael Jackson, one of the most shocking moments occurred when the King of Pop sat with 13-year-old Gavin Arvizo at his infamous Neverland Ranch. What seemed like a typical celebrity interview took an awkward turn when journalist Martin Bashir questioned Jackson about children who had stayed at his home, specifically in his bedroom. Bashir questioned the appropriateness of an adult man letting unfamiliar children stay overnight. Jackson reacted defensively, saying he felt sorry for anyone who saw something wrong with that. He asserted that allowing children to sleep over at his home, which had caused great public concern, was an act of kindness and love, not anything inappropriate. Jackson said he felt sorry for people who judged someone who genuinely wanted to help others, and explained that he would sleep on the floor while giving the children his bed. When Bashir asked why the children weren't in the living room, Jackson admitted there were indeed other rooms, but he insisted that the children always preferred to stay with him. This interview shocked public opinion. The backlash was immediate and fierce, escalating into even greater scrutiny during his 2005 trial. The controversy surrounding Jackson's behavior, combined with his financial difficulties, plagued him for the rest of his life and played a significant role in his downfall, continuing to haunt his legacy until his death in 2009. Rachel Zgler. Rachel Zgler's star seemed destined to soar when she landed the lead role in West Side Story, 2021, earning praise for her performance and quickly becoming one of Hollywood's most exciting new talents. However, her career took an unexpected turn when controversy surrounding her role as Snow White in Disney's live-action adaptation garnered attention and divided fans. The remake of the beloved 1937 classic was already a hot topic, with many fans skeptical if it could live up to the original. But Zgler's comments about the animated film only added fuel to the fire. In an interview, she openly criticized the original Snow White, dismissing it as outdated and in need of modern updates. She went further, suggesting that the love story between Snow White and the prince was unimportant and should give way to themes of leadership. In a particularly bold statement, she even joked that the prince was a stalker and called the relationship weird. Fans of the original Snow White were outraged by her comments. Many felt she had disrespected a film that had shaped the childhoods of millions. The backlash intensified when Zgler admitted she had never loved Snow White as a child, stating she watched it only once and never liked it. Fans wondered why she would take on such an iconic role if she had no personal connection or appreciation for the film. As her remarks continued to spark controversy, Zgler's media appearances seemed to only add fuel to the fire. Public opposition grew louder, with calls to boycott her future projects, including her role in the upcoming Hunger Games prequel. The role that should have been career-defining in a popular Disney blockbuster quickly turned into a public relations nightmare, tarnishing her reputation in the eyes of fans and critics. Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise has been one of Hollywood's most prominent figures, but his career took unexpected turns after several widely publicized moments that shifted public perception of him. One of the most notable incidents occurred during an interview with Peter Overton, when Cruz was asked about his relationship with Nicole Kidman. Initially, he answered politely, even stating he planned to marry again. But as the questions became more personal, his patience quickly wore thin. He told Overton that he was crossing the line and needed to take responsibility for his curiosity, adding the memorable line, "Keep your manners." To many, his reaction appeared rude and aggressive, completely contrary to the charming image he had cultivated. However, it wasn't just the interview with Overton that shook Cruz's reputation. In 2005, his appearance on The Oprah Winfrey Show became one of the most iconic and ridiculed moments in talk show history. Instead of sitting calmly and answering questions, Cruz jumped onto Oprah's sofa, shouting with excitement, and even grabbing her hands to express his enthusiasm about his new relationship with Katie Holmes. Oprah Winfrey couldn't help but joke that he's gone crazy. This bizarre emotional display shocked audiences, solidifying it as one of the wildest Hollywood gossip moments ever. Many questioned his behavior and mental state. Although he remains a top star in blockbusters like Mission Impossible, these controversial interviews have followed him, reminding fans of the instability behind his Hollywood fame facade. As of 2025, Cruz continues to dominate the box office, but his past antics and celebrity interviews continue to spark whispers about Hollywood scandals, shaping how the public views him. Belle Gibson. Belle Gibson emerged as a shining star in 2013 as a health influencer thanks to her app, The Whole Pantry, promoting healthy living and alternative medicine. She quickly became a trusted figure, publishing cookbooks and attracting a large following. But everything crumbled when she made a shocking claim. She stated she had multiple cancers and was healing them through diet and natural methods. Many believed her, supported her journey, and purchased the health products and hope she promoted. She confidently declared she had been tested for ovarian cancer and no longer had cancer in her uterus. However, by 2015, doubts began to arise. Rumors circulated that Gibson had never been ill. Further investigation revealed that she had also promised to donate profits to charity, but no donations were ever made. People's trust in her began to collapse. Pressure mounted, and Gibson finally confessed in a 2015 interview with Australian Women's Weekly, admitting she had fabricated the entire cancer story. She explained that her difficult childhood had influenced her actions, but the damage was irreversible. Once a beloved influencer, she quickly became an icon of deceit. Her career shattered as the truth was exposed. In 2017, the consequences worsened when she was fined $410,000 for deceiving the public. Belle Gibson's downfall became one of the most notorious scandals in the influencer world, showing how lies can destroy even the most successful careers. Bobcat Goldthwait. Bobcat Goldthwait was known for his unpredictable and chaotic behavior, but nothing compared to the shocking spectacle he created during his 1994 appearance on The Tonight Show with Jay Leno. Goldthwait, who had already gained attention for his uncontrolled antics rather than his comedic talent, took things to an entirely new level that night. When Leno introduced him, the audience immediately sensed something outrageous was about to happen. As the interview began, Goldthwait held nothing back, sarcastically declaring that to remain relevant, he had to be insane for ratings. He stated that he knew he had to do it, completely unfazed. Then came his infamous declaration, "I think I'm an excellent role model for children." He clearly wasn't entirely serious, but what happened next was beyond imagination. Goldthwait pulled out a can of flammable liquid and a lighter, setting his chair on fire right on stage. Leno and the crew were astonished, urging him to sit in the burning chair. However, Goldthwait remained unconcerned, joking, sit down, I'm not sitting in that chair." The consequences were immediate. This act was more than just a prank. It landed Goldthwait in serious legal trouble. He was charged by the Burbank City prosecutor with felony arson and possession of a flammable substance with intent to cause damage, with potential fines up to $2,700 for each count. Will Smith. The 2022 Academy Awards will forever be remembered for a shocking moment that resonated globally. Will Smith, in an unprecedented act, walked onto the stage and slapped Chris Rock after the comedian joked about Jada Pinkett Smith's shaved head, referencing the movie G.I. Jane. The joke hit a raw nerve as Jada had publicly dealt with hair loss. Although Smith initially laughed, the situation took a dramatic turn when he stormed the stage and slapped Rock. Rock reacted in disbelief. When Smith returned to his seat, he yelled twice, telling Rock to "keep my wife's name out of your mouth," plunging the entire auditorium into dead silence. Rock, though visibly shaken, tried to compose himself and continue the show, but the damage was done. The atmosphere of the event significantly changed, and Smith's actions were immediately condemned by both the audience and fellow stars. Subsequently, the Academy imposed a 10-year ban on Smith, and many in Hollywood distanced themselves from the actor. His career, seemingly unstoppable just moments before, was now in freefall. Upcoming projects were delayed or entirely canceled, and the once lauded star became the subject of non-stop whispers in Hollywood. The slap irreversibly altered his career trajectory, transforming him from a beloved A-list star into a symbol of controversy. By 2025, Will Smith is slowly trying to rebuild his public image, but the shadow of that Oscar moment continues to hang over him. It serves as a powerful reminder of how quickly a reputation can change by an impulsive decision. Did Will Smith go too far, or was he right to defend his wife? Drop your opinion from 1, completely wrong, to 5, 100% right, in the comments. Let's settle this once and for all. Prince Andrew. In 2019, Prince Andrew's disastrous interview with BBC's Emily Maitlis turned into a public relations nightmare, ultimately leading to his decision to step back from royal duties. The interview, intended to clear things up, spectacularly backfired. The main topic was his controversial association with Jeffrey Epstein, a figure whose name had become synonymous with scandal. Instead of distancing himself from Epstein, Prince Andrew attempted to justify their relationship, stating it was a convenient place to stay. That comment shocked the public, as many couldn't comprehend how a member of the royal family could trivialize such grave accusations. But things only escalated from there. When asked about Virginia Roberts, one of Epstein's accusers, Prince Andrew claimed he had never met her, despite a widely circulated photo showing them together. His repeated attempts to explain himself only added fuel to the fire, and instead of taking responsibility, he appeared evasive and insincere. As public negative reactions grew, businesses and organizations began severing ties with his charities. In an effort to quell the escalating scandal, the royal family announced that Prince Andrew would no longer participate in public duties. The interview became a turning point, marking the end of his public role and permanently tarnishing his image. Jussie Smollett. In 2019, Jussie Smollett, a star of the hit TV series Empire, became embroiled in a scandal that would ultimately destroy his career. What began as a heartbreaking story of a hate crime turned out to be a fabrication. Smollett reported to police that he had been attacked late at night in Chicago by two masked men who hurled racial and homophobic slurs, poured a liquid on him, and tied a rope around his neck. The public initially showed sympathy, with many celebrities and politicians speaking out in his support. But as the investigation unfolded, troubling inconsistencies emerged in his story. Investigators discovered that two brothers had been paid $3,500 by Smallett to stage the attack. They revealed that Smallett had orchestrated the entire incident in hopes of gaining public attention and securing a higher salary on Empire. The shocking revelation of Smollett's deception led to criminal charges, and he was convicted of lying to police. He was sentenced to jail time and community service, but his career quickly crumbled. Empire wrote him off the show, and the industry distanced itself from him. Even former President Donald Trump spoke out, criticizing Smallett for his actions and their impact on public perception. Smollett's once promising career was shattered, and he has yet to recover from the scandal. Paula Dean. In 2013, Paula Dean, once a beloved Food Network star and cooking mogul, saw her career collapse after a shocking legal deposition. In a deposition for a lawsuit, Dean admitted to using racial slurs in the past and even shared that she had considered hosting a plantation-themed wedding. The public backlash was swift and unforgiving, with many criticizing her for her insensitive remarks. The controversy escalated when Dean appeared on The Today Show to address the scandal. Instead of taking full responsibility, she portrayed herself as a victim, claiming she was being unfairly targeted. Her weak attempt at an apology, which alluded to a previous apology video, left many viewers feeling that she was not truly remorseful. This only added fuel to the fire. As the scandal continued to spread, major brands including Walmart and Food Network quickly severed ties with Dean. The consequences were immediate and severe, marking the downfall of her once flourishing career. Dean's reputation never fully recovered, and her public image was permanently tarnished by the controversy. Jesse Eisenberg. Jesse Eisenberg, known for his quick wit in films like Zombieland and Now You See Me, gained widespread admiration for his sharp performances, even earning nominations for prestigious awards such as the Academy Awards and Golden Globe Awards. During an interview with Romina Puga, Eisenberg's behavior shocked both the reporter and the audience. He made sarcastic comments about her interview style, mocked her for taking notes on her hand, and sarcastically questioned every one of her actions. He scoffed at her questions, and at one point, when she playfully asked him to speed up, he snapped back, "Hey, you're on my time." The interaction quickly became uncomfortable, with the reporter later describing the experience as humiliating and extremely unpleasant. When the interview was posted online, viewers quickly labeled Eisenberg as rude and condescending. The backlash was swift, and his reputation, once built on an impressive acting career, was significantly affected. Sean Combs, Diddy. The footage showing a 2016 incident involving Combs and Cassie Ventura was released to the public in 2024, sparking a new wave of outrage. The footage is a terrifying display of Combs' aggression as he grabbed Ventura and threw her to the floor, kicking her twice as she lay helpless. The clip, which shows him dragging her back into the hotel room and then throwing a vase across the hallway, raised serious questions about his violent tendencies. Ventura was later seen trying to escape using the hotel phone, but Combs returned, cornered her, and allegedly hit her again. This video was a major blow to his public image, leading to widespread condemnation. Despite the shock, Combs' career continued for several years, but his scandals didn't stop there. Fast forward to 2024, Combs found himself caught in a new wave of controversy. Other accusations, including claims of misconduct and toxic behavior, resurfaced, culminating in a May 2025 trial. These ongoing scandals have seriously damaged his once invincible standing in the music industry. While many stars have overcome scandals, Combs' long-standing career may never recover from the combination of these shocking incidents. Some mistakes can be rectified, but for him, it seems the damage is irreversible. Cheyenne Victoriao. Cheyenne Victoriao, who clinched the Brazil Game Cup female title in 2019, paved the way for Counter-Strike and built a powerful social media empire with her gaming skills. Yet, her story contains a major shock. Between 2013 and 2017, Cheyenne became embroiled with an online store that promised exclusive products to fans, but then left nearly 120 customers suffering losses exceeding $10,000 USD with nothing but flimsy excuses like delivery truck accident. When enraged buyers brought their complaints to the public prosecutor's office in São Paulo, the horrifying truth of a large-scale fraud scheme was exposed. Despite Cheyenne's public claims of innocence, investigators found her deeply involved in orchestrating this deception. In 2023, Cheyenne was convicted of embezzlement and fraud, receiving an astounding 116-year prison sentence, a record-breaking figure that sent shockwaves through the gaming world and beyond. However, under Brazilian law, she will only serve a maximum of 30 years. Still defiant, Cheyenne continues to assert on social media that most of her sales were legitimate, and that the accusations have been exaggerated. Her story is a harshest warning. Even the brightest stars can fall, and fame grants no immunity from justice. Now, fans endlessly debate, is Cheyenne a victim of injustice, or a master swindler finally unmasked? Gizlane Maxwell. Once a familiar face in elite circles, the daughter of British media mogul Robert Maxwell, Gizlane Maxwell moved effortlessly among royalty, billionaires, and politicians. But hidden beneath that polished exterior was a chilling truth. As the former girlfriend and close associate of sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, Maxwell was unmasked as a key figure in one of the most disturbing exploitation rings in modern history. In 2022, Maxwell was convicted of multiple severe charges related to minors, crimes that shocked the world. Far from a passive bystander, she was identified as having facilitated and recruited underage girls for Epstein, aiding in years of extensive multi-continental misconduct. Her 20-year prison sentence marked a historic moment. The first time a woman so deeply embedded in global high society was held accountable in the Epstein scandal. What truly makes Gizlane Maxwell's case chilling is the web of silence that surrounded it. Dozens of powerful men, business moguls, royals, politicians, were reportedly linked to Epstein's inner circle. Yet, Maxwell remains the sole figure behind bars, raising uncomfortable questions about justice and the protection afforded to the privileged. Her conviction wasn't just punishment for her crimes, it was a symbol of how prevalent and untouchable such operations had become. Today, Maxwell remains incarcerated, her glamour faded, her secrets confined. but the full truth of her connections may still be locked away, waiting to be unearthed. Allison Mack. Allison Mack's promising acting career took a horrifying turn, sending deep shockwaves when she became entwined with a notorious manipulative organization, ultimately leading to her conviction on severe exploitation and coercion charges, a shocking betrayal of her wholesome image. Her descent into the dark world of NXIVM began in 2006, a seemingly innocent pursuit of self-improvement that gradually morphed into a chilling nightmare of manipulation and abuse. By 2015, Mack was not just a follower, she had become a deeply complicit member, reportedly in charge of a subgroup within the organization and responsible for recruiting vulnerable individuals for the founder. A profound betrayal of her public image and her fans' trust. The shocking truth finally came to light in 2018, when the FBI arrested her, bringing the full weight of federal law enforcement down on the former TV star. Faced with overwhelming evidence, Mack eventually pleaded guilty and even agreed to testify against the NXIVM founder, revealing the full extent of the organization's misconduct and her own complicity. In June 2021, the court delivered its verdict. She was sentenced to 3 years in prison, along with 3 years of probation and a $20,000 fine. Although she was released in July 2023 after serving 2 of her 3 years, her story remains a haunting then and now transformation. Allison Mack's journey from beloved superhero sidekick to convicted accomplice is an undeniable spine-chilling reminder of how manipulative forces can profoundly warp even seemingly innocent individuals, leaving a legacy forever tainted by the darkness of her crimes and the pain she inflicted on others. Allison Mack helped run a secret cult that harmed women. Does her early release feel wrong to you? Type 1 for yes, 0 for no. Martha Stewart. Martha Stewart, the renowned television personality and lifestyle mogul, saw her carefully built empire shaken to its core by an insider trading scandal, leading to charges of conspiracy and obstruction of justice. In 2003, the accusations began piling up, with Stewart facing 9 daunting counts related to insider trading allegations that threatened to unravel her pristine image. In 2004, Stewart was convicted of conspiracy and obstruction of justice, among other charges, a crushing blow to her meticulously curated image. The sentence was handed down, 5 months in federal prison, followed by 5 months of electronic monitoring. The woman who graced the covers of her own magazines, projecting an image of serene control and elegant living, was now confined within prison walls, every movement restricted. Beyond her served time, the court imposed a hefty fine of nearly $200,000 and, perhaps even more damagingly, a 5-year ban from serving as a director, CEO or CFO of any public company. Martha Stewart's story became an indelible lesson, a dramatic then and now narrative, proving that even the most meticulously constructed public personas can crumble under the weight of legal scrutiny, leaving a legacy forever marked by her time behind bars. Shannon Richardson. Shannon Richardson, a Texas actress with a striking presence, was once expected to have a promising career. But in 2013, her name suddenly flooded headlines for a crime straight out of a thriller, mailing toxic substances to high-ranking political figures, including President Barack Obama and New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg. Initially, Richardson blamed her estranged husband, weaving a manipulative and deceitful narrative. Yet, forensic evidence, her fingerprints on the poison-laced letters and undeniable digital trails quickly tore her story apart. This act shocked both fans and colleagues, transforming her from a familiar screen presence into a cautionary tale overnight. By July 2014, the inevitable verdict was delivered. Richardson was sentenced to 18 years in federal prison, ordered to pay over $367,000 USD in restitution, and undergo psychological evaluation. Now, as of 2025, her once hopeful Hollywood dreams are obscured by the reality of life behind bars. With the earliest possibility of release in November 2028, Shannon Richardson stands as a haunting example of a career and a life utterly ruined by crime. Khloe Kardashian. Khloe Kardashian, a modern pop culture icon, saw her glamorous career overshadowed by a brief jail stint for drunk driving. On March 4, 2007, she was arrested for the offense, leading to a probationary sentence. This incident, though seemingly minor, generated major headlines, momentarily eclipsing her usual social media dominance. The real turning point came the following year when Kardashian violated her probation, resulting in a direct order for her arrest. On July 18, 2008, she was sentenced to 30 days behind bars, a decision that surely shocked millions of fans and the entire entertainment industry. Imagine the public reaction, the screaming headlines about a reality TV icon heading to jail, a stark contrast to her red carpet appearances. However, in a surprising twist, highlighting the unpredictability of the justice system, her jail time was surprisingly brief. Due to overcrowding, Khloe Kardashian was released after serving less than 3 hours. Are you watching from the US, UK, or somewhere completely unexpected? Comment your country below. Abby Lee Miller. Abby Lee Miller, the famed but demanding dance coach from the reality TV show Dance Moms, was accused of cleverly concealed funds in a second, secret bank account. This was a sophisticated scheme designed to evade impending lawsuits and avoid financial accountability. In 2015, she faced a legal spotlight more intense than any reality TV camera. This revelation shocked her countless fans, who had watched her mentor aspiring young dancers, now grappling with news of her alleged financial deceit and wondering how such a public figure could execute such clandestine actions. Miller eventually pleaded guilty, a concession that brought the full weight of the justice system down on her. She was sentenced to 1 year and 1 day in prison, a significant term for someone accustomed to complete control over her environment. While she ultimately served 8 months, her early release was due to good behavior and a devastating spinal cancer diagnosis. Her journey from the vibrant, often chaotic world of competitive dance to the sterile confines of a jail cell, and then her battle against severe illness, painted a vivid then and now picture. Tammy Lynn Sitch. Tammy Lynn Sitch, hailed as the groundbreaking first WWE diva and a WWE Hall of Famer, once known as Sunny, saw her pioneering career overshadowed by a relentless threat: the specter of lifelong incarceration. Starting in 2012, Sitch's life became a continuous string of arrests, including 5 arrests in just 4 weeks for offenses like burglary, disorderly conduct, and violating protective orders. Each incident chipped away at the glittering legacy she had built, revealing a darker, more chaotic personal reality that horrified her fans. Her escalating pattern of reckless behavior included multiple drunk driving, a DWI, arrests in 2015 and 2018, demonstrating a dangerous disregard for public safety and repeated failures to learn from past mistakes. These persistent violations landed her in jail for over a year for probation violations and other charges. But the most tragic and irreversible turning point came in March 2022, when Sitch was involved in a fatal, alcohol-fueled, high-speed car crash, a deeply regrettable tragedy. She now faces the chilling prospect of a maximum of 26 years in prison, with the terrifying possibility of a life sentence for this latest devastating crime. Tammy Lynn Sitch's story is a heartbreaking downfall from the pinnacle of a wrestling career to the depths of relentless legal battles and a potential future of long-term incarceration behind prison bars, a sad testament to a life tragically derailed. Lil Kim. In 2005, the world of this hip-hop icon dramatically shifted from recording studios and sold-out concerts to the cold reality of a courtroom. The accusation concerned perjury about a shooting outside a New York City radio station, a betrayal of truth that rattled her loyal fan base and cast a shadow of doubt over her image. The verdict arrived with crushing weight. Lil Kim was convicted and sentenced to a full year in prison. This wasn't just a brief setback. It was a profound interruption to a career built on momentum and public adoration, halting her artistic output. The preparations for her incarceration, a stark contrast to her usual glamorous life, were even documented in the reality TV series Countdown to Lockdown, offering an unprecedented, unfiltered look at a superstar facing her confinement. Imagine the emotional toll, the stark reality of exchanging high-fashion outfits for prison uniforms, the spotlights for fluorescent lights. Lil Kim's story became a powerful public narrative of accountability, a stark reminder that even the most glittering crowns in the music industry can be weighed down by the unyielding scales of justice, leaving an indelible mark on her otherwise celebrated legacy. Lauryn Hill. Lauryn Hill, widely revered as one of the greatest rappers of all time, was once immensely respected for her musical genius and unparalleled lyrical prowess. Yet, her illustrious legacy has been stained by serious income tax evasion charges. In June 2012, the news sent shockwaves through the music world. Hill was indicted on multiple counts for failing to file taxes on her substantial earnings. For an artist whose work often carried deep social commentary and empowering messages, the revelation of financial misconduct created a particularly stark dissonance, highlighting the stark contrast between her public image and her personal financial dealings, leaving a sense of betrayal. Hill eventually pleaded guilty, publicly committing to repaying a staggering $554,000 in back taxes. However, the path to restitution proved to be complex and incomplete. After only paying a fraction of what she promised, the court delivered its verdict. She was sentenced to 3 months in federal prison, followed by 3 months of home confinement. This was an undeniable turning point for an artist who had previously seemed untouchable, a sobering moment that laid bare the real-world consequences of financial missteps. Chrysley. As the matriarch of the popular reality TV series Chrysley Knows Best, Chrysley projected an image of family values and shrewd financial management. However, her carefully constructed public persona was dramatically shattered when she and her husband, Todd Chrysley, were convicted of a massive financial conspiracy involving tax evasion and bank fraud, a scheme that netted them over $30 million through falsified information and deception. In June 2022, the couple, whose lives were meticulously documented for public consumption, faced a shocking verdict from a jury, exposing a hidden world of deceit and illegality. The irony was glaring. The family who supposedly knew best was now revealed to be master manipulators of the financial system, leaving fans stunned and questioning their entire on-screen narrative. Prosecutors detailed how the Chrysleys had fraudulently obtained large sums of money from banks by submitting false documents and failing to pay taxes. A grand deception that directly contradicted their on-screen narrative. In November 2022, the court delivered a crushing blow. Chrysley was sentenced to 7 years in prison, a staggering incarceration that completely demolished her opulent life. Her husband received an even longer sentence, highlighting the severity of their combined offenses. While both are actively planning appeals, Chrysley's story is a chilling then and now transformation, illustrating how the glamorous facade of reality television can conceal deep financial malfeasance. Her journey from lavish homes to the harsh, unyielding reality of a prison cell serves as an undeniable reminder that even the most celebrated figures are not above the law, and that a life built on lies can ultimately lead to a future justly serving time behind prison bars, a testament to justice served. Do you love this video? Show some love by hitting like and subscribing. Hate it? A like is still awesome, and your feedback in the comments will help me improve. Skyler DeLeon. Once a hopeful child actor, briefly appearing in the iconic Mighty Morphin Power Rangers series, Skyler DeLeon harbored dreams of Hollywood stardom. But tragically, that dream morphed into an unfathomable nightmare of greed and violence. Her name is now synonymous with one of California's most chilling crimes: the meticulously planned deaths of a yacht-owning couple, Thomas and Jackie Hawks, to seize their assets, and involvement in another deadly crime. By the early 2000s, DeLeon's acting ambitions had faded, replaced by financial desperation. This desperation pushed her down a dark path, culminating in 2004 when, with accomplices, she orchestrated a horrifying plot, targeting an innocent couple. Posing as interested buyers, DeLeon and her group lured the unsuspecting Hawks couple out to sea. There, in a truly disturbing display of callousness, they forced the couple to sign over ownership of their yacht, then, in a shockingly calculated act of cruelty, tied them up and caused their tragic deaths. Their bodies were never found, leaving a haunting void and a community shocked by the brutality of the act. DeLeon was arrested and in 2008 sentenced to the death penalty for this deadly crime. Adding to her grim record, she was also implicated in another serious offense. As of April 2025, Skyler DeLeon remains on death row at San Quentin Prison, a stark, permanent contrast to her brief childhood fame. In a unique development while incarcerated, she legally changed gender to female in prison in 2019. Her story is a spine-chilling, undeniable then and now reminder of how ambition, twisted by insatiable greed, can lead to the most shocking acts, forever marking her brief past in the spotlight with the indelible stain of extreme wrongdoing. Jen Shah. Jen Shah, a prominent, glamorous figure on The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, renowned for her opulent lifestyle, dramatic clashes, and designer wardrobe, saw her reality TV empire spectacularly collapsed when she was arrested and charged with conspiracy to commit wire fraud and money laundering, stemming from a large-scale scheme. The indictment, unsealed in March 2021, alleged that Shah, along with her longtime assistant, orchestrated a nationwide telemarketing scheme, specifically targeting the elderly by selling them non-existent business services. The stark contrast between her on-screen wealth and the accusations of exploiting vulnerable individuals sent shockwaves through the Bravo universe and beyond, leaving fans questioning everything they thought they knew about her. For a woman whose life seemed to be an open book for reality television, the reality of federal charges was a crushing awakening. After initially pleading not guilty, Shah eventually pleaded guilty to wire fraud, an admission that sealed her fate and confirmed the devastating allegations. In January 2023, the court delivered a stern sentence. Jen Shah was ordered to serve 6 years and 6 months in prison. The transition from opulent mansions and pampered trips to the harsh confines of a federal penitentiary was undeniable. Jen Shah's story serves as a profound public reminder that even the most lavish displays of wealth and carefully constructed celebrity personas cannot shield individuals from the harsh, unyielding hand of justice, especially when their alleged crimes involve the exploitation of society's most vulnerable. Amy Locane. Once a rising star appearing in notable projects like Cry Baby and Melrose Place, Amy Locane's promising acting career tragically unraveled into a heartbreaking real-life drama when a reckless decision to drive under the influence led to a fatal car accident, claiming an innocent life and forever altering her own. On the night of June 27, 2010, Locane, with a blood alcohol level well above the legal limit, drove erratically before crashing into another vehicle, instantly killing 60-year-old Helene Seaman and severely injuring her husband. This horrifying act of negligence transformed an ordinary evening into an irreversible tragedy, sending shockwaves through the entertainment industry and beyond, leaving a profound sense of loss. In December 2010, she was charged with vehicular assault and aggravated manslaughter. Despite expressing deep remorse in court, prosecutors emphasized the clear recklessness of her actions, arguing the crash was entirely preventable. In November 2012, a jury convicted her, and she was initially sentenced to 3 years in prison. However, this sentence was widely criticized as being too lenient given the devastating loss of life. The legal battle stretched for years, with multiple appeals and resentencings. The relentless fight for justice ultimately led to her sentence being extended to 8 years in prison in September 2020, acknowledging the gravity of her crime. As of April 2025, Amy Locane remains incarcerated, her story an undeniable, painful, then and now cautionary tale. It serves as a stark reminder of how a single reckless decision can unleash irreversible consequences, forever linking her television fame to a life now justly serving time behind prison bars, a monument to the devastating impact of impaired driving. Zara Fythian. As an acclaimed actress and stunt performer with credits in films like Doctor Strange, Zara Fythian once brought dynamism and physicality to the screen. However, her professional achievements were irrevocably shattered when she was convicted of grave exploitation charges involving minors. In 2015, the disturbing truth came to light, revealing a dark and alarming reality, far removed from her choreographed action sequences. This deeply shocking accusation, involving vulnerable minors, sent powerful shockwaves through anyone who knew her work, leaving a profound sense of betrayal. Fythian and her husband were both implicated and subsequently convicted of these offenses. The court delivered a harsh and clear verdict. Zara Fythian was sentenced to 8 years in prison. For an artist whose body was the instrument of her physical and artistic expression, her confinement within prison walls represented a grim and absolute end to her former life, stripping away her freedom and public admiration. Zara Fythian's story is a grim, undeniable reminder that beyond the fleeting glitz of the entertainment industry, truly grave misdeeds can lurk, forever altering a public figure's narrative into a chilling tale of criminal conviction and a life justly serving time behind prison bars. A harsh lesson in accountability. Cheryl Crane. In 1958, Hollywood's glittering image was shattered by a scandal so shocking, it stunned the entire nation. Cheryl Crane, the 14-year-old daughter of screen icon Lana Turner, used a knife in a fatal incident with Johnny Stompanato, her mother's abusive boyfriend and a known mob associate. The deadly confrontation occurred during a violent argument between Stompanato and Turner. Fearing for her mother's life, Cheryl grabbed a knife and used it, resulting in his death. The case was ruled justifiable homicide in an inquest, and Cheryl avoided criminal charges. However, the trial played out like a Hollywood script, rife with drama, secrets, and suspicion. Some believed Lana Turner orchestrated a cover-up to protect her image, with whispers that she might have destroyed evidence or manipulated the narrative to sway public sympathy. Cheryl herself was thrust into a media frenzy, her teenage face splashed across newspapers, forever linked to one of Hollywood's darkest nights. Though she never served prison time, Cheryl Crane's name has been indelibly etched into the annals of celebrity crime. The event derailed her childhood and cast a long shadow over Lana Turner's career. Today, Cheryl's story is a reminder that not all Hollywood tragedies play out on screen. Sometimes they happen behind closed doors, where fame, fear, and violence collide. Her case remains one of the most infamous examples of real-life drama erupting into deadly consequences in Tinseltown. Frances Farmer. Frances Farmer was once hailed as one of Hollywood's brightest rising stars. With her haunting beauty and fierce independence, she captivated audiences in the 1930s and early 1940s. But behind the scenes, her rebellion against the studio system and her refusal to conform sealed her destruction. In 1943, Farmer was arrested for drunk driving, resisting arrest, and insulting a judge in court. What followed wasn't just legal punishment, it was the erasure of a woman's autonomy. Deemed mentally unstable, Frances was forcibly committed to psychiatric institutions for over 7 years. During her time in various mental hospitals, she alleged horrifying abuse, forced medication, electroshock therapy without consent, physical beatings, and even sexual assault by staff. Her cries were ignored, and her identity as a Hollywood actress was reduced to merely a diagnosis. Farmer's case remains one of the most shocking examples of how fame, mental health stigma, and misogyny collided. Though she was never literally imprisoned, the psychiatric system became her cage, a place where her voice, agency, and freedom were stripped away. Today, Frances Farmer is remembered not just for her tragic downfall, but as a symbol of how an industry and a society turned their backs on a woman who dared to fight back. Her story doesn't just haunt Hollywood history, it raises chilling questions about how many other stars were silently buried behind institutional walls. Billie Holiday. Billie Holiday, known as Lady Day, remains one of the most influential voices in jazz and American music history. But hidden beneath her captivating, unforgettable performances was a life tormented by relentless legal persecution and personal tragedy. In the 1940s and 1950s, Billie was arrested multiple times for narcotics possession charges, an accusation that shadowed her at the height of her fame. In 1947, Holiday's struggles with addiction led to a year in prison at a federal reformatory in West Virginia. Even after serving her time, she never found peace. The FBI, fueled by a nationwide anti-drug crusade and racial bias, turned Billie into a constant target. She was continually pursued, subjected to arrests, and denied the opportunity to perform in many clubs, including New York's legendary venues. Holiday's life became a tragic symbol of how society, and particularly law enforcement, punished black artists for their vulnerabilities. The persecution followed her to the very end. In 1959, Billie Holiday died in a New York hospital, handcuffed to her hospital bed and still under police guard. Even in her final moments, authorities continued their prosecution, denying her peace or dignity. Today, Billie Holiday's story is a heartbreaking reminder of the harsh realities faced by pioneering women in entertainment, especially women of color. Her legacy is not just her voice, but her courage in facing an unyielding system that refused to let her be free, even in death. Anna Sorokin. Anna Sorokin, better known by her alias Anna Delvey, captivated and swindled New York's elite by posing as a wealthy German heiress. With designer clothes, lavish hotel stays, and high-profile social connections, she spun an intricate web of deception to defraud banks, luxury hotels, and even her closest friends. Her audacious scheme became the subject of Netflix's Inventing Anna, but the real-life story is even more astonishing. In 2019, Sorokin was convicted of multiple felony charges, including grand larceny and theft of services. She had scammed her way into Manhattan's high society, using fake financial documents and charisma to accrue hundreds of thousands of dollars in unpaid bills. Her dream? To open a private arts foundation and social club, funded entirely by fraud? Sentenced to 4 to 12 years in prison, Sorokin served time at Rikers Island before being released in 2021. But her freedom was short-lived. Soon after her release, she was detained by U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, for visa overstay, sparking new debates about her status and deportation. Anna Sorokin's story isn't just about crime. It's a reflection of a culture obsessed with status, image, and wealth. She didn't use guns or force, just lies, ambition, and an Instagram-ready style. Today, even while behind bars or under ICE supervision, she remains a pop culture phenomenon, her audacity echoing through headlines and online screens. As we have seen, just one moment caught on camera can turn Hollywood dreams into lingering nightmares. And in Hollywood, forgiveness is not always easy. Which celebrity downfall shocked you the most? Share your thoughts in the comments. Don't go anywhere. Our next video will reveal even deeper betrayals you would never expect. You won't want to miss it.